More than 2 million Virginians have already voted in the 2020 election. That's almost 4 times the total number of early ballots cast in Virginia in 2016.
Wow. Let's bring in Commissioner Christopher Piper of the Virginia Department for Elections for an update. And Commissioner, we really appreciate you being here with us. I know this is an incredibly busy time. This just came in this morning. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot in Virginia has passed. But reportedly now, the state's election system is letting people apply for ballots regardless. Can you explain what's going on?
Sure. The law requires that anybody who wants to apply for a ballot, an absentee ballot up to a year in advance, has that opportunity. We have clear markings on the system that say that, the ballot deadline for November 3rd has passed. So when they're applying for a ballot, they're applying for future elections. We've sent out more guidance and more information on our website, but unfortunately, this is a factor of the law, but we're notifying those voters, letting them know that they'll need to vote in person either on election day or prior to election day.
And obviously, this is an unprecedented year. And I know right now, speaking of Virginia law, it allows for the pre-processing of ballots before election day, but you can't actually start counting them until November 3rd. So with that in mind, when do you think we'll get final results from Virginia?
So we've advised the registrars in Virginia to continue processing mail-in ballots through 11 p.m. on election night. And then after 11 p.m., we're asking them to go ahead and post their results. You mentioned the 2 million that have already voted. At that point, around 11 p.m., we'll have all the votes reported from election day and the votes cast on election day. And then after 11 p.m., all the early votes and the mail-in ballots that they've been able to process to that point. In Virginia, you're allowed to return a ballot as long as it's postmarked by election day. You can return it up to Friday at noon. So we'll have additional results coming in after Friday at noon. But we expect the majority of our results to be entered by a little after 11 on election night.
But this is so much. Listening to it's so much for voters to keep up with, and all the rules and all the changes. And another change, the Virginia Board of Elections, you just mentioned postmarks, but now they are actually going to accept ballots that don't have a postmark. Why that change? Why is that important for voters there in Virginia?
Well, we've seen it in previous elections and in other states. This is a new law for Virginia, and the State Board of Elections, realizing that ballots sometimes do get returned, the United States Postal Service not applying a postmark on those ballots, the State Board wanted to make sure that any error from that was out of the voters' control didn't mean that the voters' ballot shouldn't count. If the voters done everything right, then the votes should count.
There was a group of lawyers at Georgetown who actually put out kind of a cheat sheet for people, reminding them of what you can and can't do as a poll watcher at these polls. And there was concern about, after actually President Trump made a mention of people we're going to send poll watchers out, that there might be some voter intimidation, and even talk about possibly armed militias showing up at some of the polling places. Some police chiefs there have expressed some concern. Do you have any of those concerns about what could happen at those polling places? And have you seen anything like that so far?
Well, so in Virginia, in order to be a poll watcher, there's certain steps that one has to take and information that they have to provide to the locality in order to be inside the polls. And so we have those protections in place. We've always advised voters that if they witness any intimidation or hindrance of their ability to access those polls, they should notify the election officers inside, and then they should, or if unable to, they could contact the local voter registration office or our office and let the election officials handle it.
And finally, Commissioner, I want to talk about masks, because there is an indoor mask mandate there in your state with a $500 fine. And yet we also know Virginia law there says that voters cannot be hindered at all from voting. So what are you going to do if someone wants to go in to cast their ballot without a mask on?
We'll have masks at the polling place. If there are additional masks, they'll be offered. If they're unwilling to wear a mask, the election officers have been instructed to encourage those voters to utilize our curbside voting system. They can drive up in their car and cast a vote that way.
All right, Virginia Department of Elections Commissioner Christopher Piper, big job and some busy days ahead of you. We want to thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
And a reminder to our viewers and you voters out there, there is a helpful resource from our partners at 538. You can check out their How to Vote site for specific details on voting in your state.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.